Hello and welcome to an all-new Marvelcast Explosion Network's hub of all things Marvel, a place to talk about everything MCU and beyond, from Avengers Defenders to Princess Diana and Eminem. My name's Ashley Hobley, the Explosion Network's resident fourth wall breaker. Joining me today, Ultimate Ciaran Marchant.
What? Princess Diana and Eminem? Man,
They've both appeared in Marvel Comics.
You know what? I at least would have thought you would have just gone with Meg the Stallion for today.
No, because
you know what?
I don't say someone directly in the episode.
Well, it's true, but today's the day I learned who Meg the Stallion was. Also
joining us, the astonishing Dylan Blight.
Yada 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 yada.
Yeah, that's her. She does that song. That was in the credits.
I'm sure they got a deal on that one song. You know, the rights.
Yeah, put me in the episode and make me heavily featured in the episode. I'll give you deal.
Yeah, do your deal. All right, today we're talking about the latest episode of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, The People vs. Emil Blonsky. Directed by Coiro, written by Francesca Gailes and Jacqueline J. Gailes. She-Hulk represents Emil Blonsky, aka the Abomination, but his parole hearing doesn't go as planned. Let me just say off the top, that title does not work because it's not an actual court case. It's just a parole hearing.
I mean, the other guy,
he already got charged.
Has a court.
He already got charged.
The B story has a court case, though. So there is a court
but
case.
it's not the people versus.
It's not
Emil
the people
Blonsky,
versus
though.
Emil Blonsky. Yeah, I assume that court case happened
years
ago.
The people are the public eye.
All right, Dylan, what do you think of this week's episode of She-Hulk?
Yeah, I really liked it. I think it was the best one so far. I liked the focus on I feel like this hit its style. I like the tone of everything. I think it was rather funny. I think a lot of the jokes worked for me. I sort of had little chuckles about things throughout the whole episode. Even having characters be a little bit more comedic than they usually are. Like Wong was definitely a lot funnier in this than he is in other stuff. But I'm down for characters sort of fitting the genre to a bit, and just not having. I feel like you can bend the rules a little bit there. So, but that whole scene where he's like, "We'll keep the magic to," sounds like she's like, "Stop tapping your nose," all that sort of stuff. I thought that was quite funny. I liked the whole B story with this. In fact, the whole B story I think was my favorite thing of the episode because I was like, "Man, I'll just watch this show." If the show was just it was a 20-minute sort of sitcom about court cases to do with magic people doing shit like this, someone impersonating. But yeah, when that little old lady transformed and ran up and was the judge and stuff like that, just trying to run away, I was like, oh, that was funny. Also, I'm watching this whole episode going, where's this guy from? And I look it up on IMDb. I'm like, mate, you switched from DC Arrowverse to this. All right, that's where I've seen you from.
Prometheus.
Hey?
Prometheus.
Yeah. So I was like, that's where I recognize you from. So, but yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I have no idea what the whole point of this show is, and I don't really care. I feel like ideally, to me, this show would actually just be more of a sitcom, just random shit like this, like the B-side stories, just get her more involved, get She-Hulk more involved with the B-story stuff, and that would be a show to me. I could sort of enjoy that. So, yeah, I liked it.
All right. Ciaran, what do you think of this week's episode?
I thought it was good. It's not my favorite. I don't think it was better than last week. I thought it was funny. I was very caught off guard maybe by the start of the B plot. The B plot kind of, I don't know, we haven't had something like that yet in this show. So to have something completely away from Jen at large was good. I think it was funny at first. I just thought it was very different. It took me a little bit to kind of get into it and vibe with it. I think it's interesting because I feel like this episode was trying to be hey, we are more of a law show than we are just a sitcom or anything. Not a law show as in serious law, but there is a lawyer part of this. And, we've got Jen's story with defending Blonsky, and then the B plot. And, the Jen side was supposed to be hey, look at Jen is a really great lawyer. Let's remember that she is a great lawyer. She does really well. At the same time, I feel like some of the law stuff in this was a little funky, which I know it's a sitcom, it's not supposed to make sense, but I feel like a lawyer getting another lawyer from their firm to be a character witness for a lawyer that they're defending is some form of, I can't remember the word for it, but yeah, I don't know, it just felt weird, but maybe that's just me overthinking because I really enjoy law shows and law stuff. But yeah, it was overall good. I laughed a lot. It was really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the episode as well. I think this one is probably the most sitcom-y episode so far. Obviously with an actual A plot and B plot, which a lot of sitcoms generally do have. It's interesting they're kind of expanding the cast a little bit. We get our first glimpse at Renée Elise Goldsberry, who shows up for like 30 seconds, but yeah, really enjoyable. And then we also kind of get a small hint at where this could potentially, like, a major plot line potentially going through towards the end.
Jarring when that section happened. Like, that
a little bit
seemed like very out of nowhere and out of whack with what the rest of the episode was doing. Like, you just
What, that you're talking about the end?
Yes.
Like with the Asgardian
when she gets jumped,
dudes and
I didn't feel like it felt out of. I mean, I feel like they played it. It was like, oh, she's getting jumped, but then she's like, oh wait, I'm sitting here, and then the reveal was, oh, they were actually purposely looking for her. They weren't, because I thought that they played it as she was just randomly getting jumped.
Oh no, I thought they knew who she was at the start.
Oh.
I guess the reveal was somebody's after her blood, because somebody's already worked out that her blood is important.
Yeah,
which I don't know how they've worked that out.
Because she's a Hulk. They're like, hey, some Hulk blood, that'd be pretty cool. I guess it's hard to. She's the Hulk.
That'd be pretty cool.
she's a Hulk who is around. Unlike Bruce. You know what I mean? Who disappeared for several years there. Was on the run for a long period of time. Until he was like part of the Avengers, I guess, and getting to the Avengers compound, I imagine.
I heard that She-Hulk got kicked out of Avengers.
That's a rumor that I heard after one person asked that question.
Yeah.
I do love that it wasn't like... It would be so easy to make that joke that the reporter who asked the question says, oh, we've heard the rumor about, but she hears it from another reporter asking that question.
I found it funny. Sorry, just as a minor point of the media stuff. It's amusing, and I don't know if it was coming on purpose because this is done so far in advance, but coming off the back of the Johnny Depp trial where everybody's talking about him and his lawyer potentially being in a relationship, and then they have her and Emil Blonsky potentially having a baby together. I had a bit of a chuckle over that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Well, I don't think it's that uncommon. I think
no,
purely because they're Hulks. Is probably more than that kind of stuff. Of course, we open the episode with She-Hulk confronting Blonsky about what the hell is up with this video that we saw last week. It turns out Wong kidnapped him effectively against his will. This idea of Wong kidnapping him to improve his work as the Sorcerer Supreme doesn't make a ton of sense, given the way
I feel like,
Wong was in Shang-Chi.
I feel like Wong's talking a load of shit. Like,
he could be.
Wong was just like, I wanted to rig a fight. I found Abomination. I just needed somebody to look good so that we could rig this fight and have some fun while I was on holiday. Because it's all about when he's on holiday from being the Sorcerer Supreme and stuff. I don't know. It feels,
so we're thinking Wong is completely lying this entire... Wong and Blonsky are lying about why he escaped, is what you're saying.
Yes. But also at the same time, I feel like the whole Wong storyline is funny, but at the same time, it feels like it should be a lot bigger of an issue than it is, if that makes sense. Like,
what do you mean?
I feel like, other than the guy at the end being like, hey, you just admitted to a pretty big crime, they've had a magic user come into like a top security prison, grab a super monster, and then put him back. And nobody seems to be freaking out about that.
He's the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, but why is everybody recognizing that as a position of power and like a acknowledged?
Well,
they love Doctor Strange. They're all big Doctor Strange fans.
Like, it's just so random that it's just...
We don't know what happened during the blip. Maybe Wong became a massive celebrity. No, probably not. Seeing as they couldn't be able to find him.
Wong was
alive.
No, Wong was gone during the blip.
No, Wong was alive. That's why he became Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
that's
does
the
make
whole
sense. Okay.
thing.
That's the whole joke.
That
Doctor
does make
Strange
sense. Fair enough.
dies.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think he even shows up at the start of Endgame, right?
I didn't think you
I
saw
don't
Wong
remember, but-
He
until
was in
the on your left section at the end.
No, I'm pretty sure he's in Endgame. At least at the start. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because they're like, "Hey, who the hell is Wong?" You know, and Nikki's checking on a phone. He might be the Sorcerer Supreme, or he might be a book librarian in a poll. She doesn't know. But she's sent him a DM to get him to respond. Sent a picture of her with a book. He's like, "Yep, that's gonna work." Good times. Of course, then we get the. It's great. I love the fourth wall breaking right at the start with her in the car, like taking her hands off the wheel and talking to us and letting us know that, you know, this isn't the show. You know, it isn't going to be a cameo every single week, even though there's been cameos every single week.
And presumably there will be.
There will
another
be.
next week. So.
There's like multiple in every episode. We literally had an episode with Megan Thee Stallion. We get Jen getting called to Halliday's office, potentially to help with the case of her former colleague, what was his name? Dennis, who turns out has been defrauded by a light elf from New Asgard who was impersonating, who he thought was in a romantic relationship with Megan Thee Stallion, which is an amusing premise. Of course, you know, we do get the first look at Mallory Brooke, who briefly appears for Dennis scares her off. And, you know, we get Dennis's put together pug, who, you know, helps him through his court case. I guess jump ahead and, you know, the solution to his court case is, hey, Jen, tell us how delusional this guy is, and then, you know, the court believes him. I mean, it's a fun B story, and, like, a chance to, like, highlight a supporting character. So that was enjoyable.
Yeah, I like the part where they go to the bar and he sits down and Jen like four breaks. I was like, tying the A and B plot together.
Yeah. And then they had the real Megan Thee Stallion there in the court, you know.
Yep.
And then
we get that great after credit scene
where, you know, She-Hulk
There's a
drops it
lot
like
of
it's hot.
She-Hulk. There's a lot of She-Hulk ass shots, like a lot.
Yeah.
As the one person says in
Junk
that that media clip correlation, smash.
Which, by the way, that clip I found quite funny too. The whole making fun of fuckboys online.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like we already had a male Hulk. I'm nothing against female superheroes, but can't you just come up with your own? Like they're all literally things that you said online. It's so true. Oh, first we had the Me Too movement, or like all this sort of stuff that you can see. It was quite funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So that gets resolved. We do get some funny moments of Runa, the light elf, like impersonating different people, whether it's her impersonating Dennis coming back in. Getting super high on Red Bull, it looked like. Or
Dennis has a Cybertruck.
He has a Cybertruck.
He has a
He
Cybertruck.
seems like the type, you know.
Impressive.
I mean, if you're someone who can throw around $175,000 on somebody and treat it like it's nothing, you know.
Hey, but he's not a
buy
schmuck.
a Cybertruck.
He's not a schmuck. He didn't do 200,000.
Yeah. Also, Runa impersonating Pug and walking out of his office and like saying how much he loves harassing women. And then him going, "You guys know me. You work together." So good. Yeah, that whole storyline really enjoyable. Of course, we get the court case of the parole hearing of Emil Blonsky. It doesn't go to plan because Wong doesn't show up, but you know, Blonsky's had a strong impression on all these people within the prison, you know, helping with their relationships, helping to like improve the quality of life for the other prisoners there. Wong shows up, you know, gives his statement, you know, saying he needed to take him away. They don't really explain exactly why Wong stole him or anything. But then Blonsky's like, hey, no, somebody asked like, well, that's just Blonsky. What happens if you turn into Abomination? So, Blonsky turns into Abomination. Doesn't go particularly well. Everybody's freaked out. Even though it looked pretty good. You know? Yeah. So, you know, they finally agree in the end to let him off in parole. As long as he keeps an inhibitor on him at all times. Which is definitely setting it up for down the line some, you know, he's definitely going to have that inhibitor come off.
Oh, for Thunderbolts.
Or even later this season.
Yeah. But also,
he's also the leader of a cult.
Yeah.
He is. 100%. It also feels very strange. I don't know, they kind of rushed over Jen working out how to sell it to the parole board to get him off. Like, she goes, oh, you've just given me an idea, but I'm not going to let him know that he just gave me an idea. And then just kind of jumps over to them coming out and saying it like it's their own idea. I don't... Like, maybe it was obvious that it was her, but it was just a little bit...
I think that was... Yeah, she probably pitched the idea and they just didn't want to spell it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, yeah, we do get these guys jumping at the end. They try to steal her blood, but, you know, no needles past her crazy She-Hulk skin, or whatever they say. And they refer to a boss. Boss is going to be pissed. Who is the boss that they could be talking about?
Be like the lead.
Wilson Fisk.
He needs She-Hulk's. He needs She-Hulk's blood to repair the gunshot wounds he got at the end of Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, it could be. I haven't looked at the internet to see what the internet speculation is, but yeah, I'm sure there's a bunch of villains in the Hulk gallery that it could potentially be.
How do we
seeking.
feel about the Asgardian builder that has been robbed of all of his magical?
This must be very sad. Like
equivalent.
Oh, you just reminded me of one of my other favorite.
I was about to say was the best line where they're talking about like, well, you do have immunity in Asgard or whatever, and then she's like, well, Asgardians are a people, not a place. And the guy's like, look, Thor's inspirational speech doesn't work in the court.
And then the music swelled. It sounded like the Thor score. It's amazing.
Yeah. So
good. Anything else you feel like we need to discuss from this week's episode of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law? No. All right.
No.
All right. Let us know what you thought of this week's episode by going to explosion.com/Twitter, or you can jump to our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at All New Marvelcast, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser. Tell people about the #1 Australian MCU podcast on the internet. And if you really like this episode, thoughts with $1, head on over to our Ko page at explosion.com/support. All right. Make sure you watch next week's episode of She-Hulk and join us next time for another All New Marvelcast.